Hello and welcome. This is Mark Esposito on another episode of interviewing individuals in their role within the neurodiverse community. Today, I had the pleasure of meeting and speaking with Elon. How you doing, Elon?
Feeling great. Good to see you again.
Always a pleasure to see you. I get to see you actually a few times a week, which is pretty great these days. So, if you can, Elon, tell me about your current role.
My current role in the community consists of working with the kids, getting them confidence, getting them stronger in the pool. And then secondly, in the community, working with the kids/adults, uh, advocating for their independence and their feeling comfortable in the community.
That's really awesome. What would you say is your like starting to maybe even end age range that you work with?
From a history standpoint, from 6 years of age all the way up until I would say 50, 60 years of age.
Wow, that's pretty remarkable. So you get to work with a almost like a full lifespan.
Wide range of individuals. Very helpful, very rewarding.
I'm sure it is. Do you see some similarities between your most youngest and your most oldest?
Similarities, yes. I would say all the people, they want to be loved. Everyone wants to be loved. They want to feel welcomed, and they don't want to feel outcasts. So in that aspect, with the age range, everybody wants to feel cared for and supported.
So would you say that your approach is empathetic and compassionate to people that you are just meeting, to people that you've been working with for a while?
I would say being able to have that relationship with someone prior to working with them is key. Is key. Working with strangers, it's not an issue, but it helps to have known that participant prior to working with them. And I prefer that relationship prior to having a working relationship. I would rather the friend relationship first, or just getting to know relationship, than entering into a working relationship.
I'm sure that's really important, right? A matter of trust because you're in an aquatic environment, right? You're in a pool setting, so safety is always first and foremost. And yeah, you want to be able to have that trust, even though you're able to monitor and supervise them. I'm sure even then you even more so, right? You want to have that connection with them. And so within this role that you're supporting individuals and also the neurodiverse in population community, what are some of the challenges you've come across, hurdles, obstacles?
One challenge I've experienced that goes unseen is more of an effort to identify root causes of the issues at hand. Another challenge I encounter is lack of aggressive services and programs advocating to accommodate the community.
Okay, yeah, that's actually really good. I like how even though they're a little different, they're actually so hand in hand, right? Where we would like to see more assertion by services, to be present, to be accessible, but then we'd also like them to help us kind of go down the rabbit hole to see what led to this event that we're observing right now.
Huge.
Um, in your experience, have you seen how a lack of services influences an individual's behavior or level of comfort in a pool setting?
Absolutely. Well, you have a participant that's in a new setting, pool environment, new people, new surroundings, new sounds, new smells, new sights. So at the end of the day, um, that's all new. Could be new for a person, but having the community understand what's going on with these individuals and be more understanding of the individual's circumstances, that's where I would say we have a lack of communication. My goal is to broaden that clarity, broaden that clarity between our community and the community, and then I would like to have a separation. It's good to have inclusion, but I think I would like to see more programs geared just for them, so we're not interfering with the everyday population. Again, inclusion is very important, but we have enough for us. I would say we have everything is for us. I believe in programs geared just specifically for them in their own setting, so to say.
Yeah, it's an excellent point. We see a lot of overlap, integration, inclusion. We see a lot of restrictive, but we see it more so in a way of like segregation, right?
Right.
Not in a way of why this is a supportive approach, and then how to prepare the individual to transition into it. And then if they are transitioning, it's more you go from a restrictive environment to another restrictive environment, and not restrictive to inclusive to here's everything going on, and then maybe being able to go back. Um, yeah, that's a great point. When we look at when you're looking at services, what's a service that you think could be improved?
I would say all across the board, but to be specific, I would go along the lines of exercise and diet, having their own place to eat, having their own place to exercise, where they don't have that outside distraction.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking about when you're talking about the new smells, the new setting of a pool,
Mm.
and not everybody loves the smell of chlorine when they walk in. It can be a little overpowering, a little overwhelming. I think about the echoing that you can have in a pool setting, and then here you are. We're talking about being able to work out somewhere, being able to eat somewhere, which can sound very common,
Mm.
for us in our daily lives. That some of us, especially, eat on the go or in our cars. Like, we'll actually, I think about people in the medical field. Like, they'll leave the actual hospital, they'll go to their car, and they just want to get away from it all, from all the noise, from all of the chaos. Or even people working a day-to-day job, right? Like clocking in, clocking out. They just want a quiet space for them to operate and to work out, to eat, and to work with a coach in a pool setting. Um, any other challenges that you've experienced at all?
Challenges being on the same page as the family. I would say everyone has to be on the same page. Yes, we could have different opinions, different views, but as long as we gear our views, opinions towards the benefit and improvement, progress of the participant, we should be okay. But I really believe between the school setting, the home setting, the staff setting, everyone should be working towards the same goal. If everybody's walking in different directions, I believe it just causes a lot of chaos and confusion in that person's life.
Transparency.
Big, very big. Everyone has to be able to see the same thing, you know?
Yeah, having that communication between not just the service provider but the family and the individual. It's a hard line of communication to establish, to maintain, and to, I guess, nurture, right? In your experience, is it something that maybe not about having difficulty with, but do you enjoy when you get to have those moments of transparency with families and the individual themselves?
When we can all see in the same direction and everybody has a clear goal, I think that's the ultimate reward. When we don't see eye to eye, it causes division, it causes unclarity, and that's what we don't want. We want from the broker to the family to the staff to the community, we want to visualize and see the same direction, which is almost impossible. That's what makes it a big challenge, but that's what makes it it's a beautiful job. That's what makes it a beautiful job. Trying to get everyone geared towards the progress of our community.
Yeah, it has to be definitely motivating, right? To see the amount of effort people put into this day in, day out, to sometimes have just the smallest moments of achievement, right? Towards a goal, in the mission of getting access to reach our fullest potential, right? Uh, what are the successes that you've seen or had the ability to be a part of?
For me, the success is in the pool. It could be someone who was terrified, who had so much anxiety they were ready to rip my head off. And a couple of months later, it's like night and day. They are loving the pool environment. They are loving and trusting what I'm saying to them is only going to help them and benefit them. In the community, some of the challenges that I've seen is just someone who was scared to take a walk on the boardwalk, someone who was so anxious to, you know, be around other people. Again, a couple of months later, a year later, you see the comfort level change, you see the anxiety decrease, and we just all want to walk through life knowing that we have support, knowing that we have comfort around us, and being being the staff, being this being our job, the success. I see the success just working every day with these kids. Just what it brings a smile to my face. When they're happy, I'm happy, and that's success to me.
Yeah,
That's one of the mm, that to me that's success to me. When I see them smiling, that's success to me.
no, it's beautiful. It really is a beautiful thing when you get to see that kind of joy. You get to share in that joy. I was talking to, as you know, I've been interviewing other individuals in their roles, and success varies, right? We see it in so many different ways. We get to share it and experience it, and it's really cool when we get to be there for that moment. I think it stays in our mind like a snapshot, and we always get to revisit it. We always get to use it as a place that, I guess, when we're having a challenge in supporting a participant or a client, that we look back and we go, this is something that we're working towards, this shared joy, not just being successful in overcoming the obstacle, right? We get to have a moment where things are going to be copacetic and good,
Right.
but also celebratory. One of the things that you mentioned in success was you're in the pool and you have an individual who is just not having it. To reach that success where they could be joyful, how do you keep your composure in that moment?
Balance. There has to be a happy medium. There has to be a happy balance based on how they feel, their anxiety level, what they're afraid of, what they want, what they don't want. And the balance is what I'm challenging the participant to do. I want you to do something. You don't want to do it. So let's find a happy medium. Let's find a place where we can get this done together and balance your fears, your anxieties with my challenges and goals. Has to be a balance.
Not to be, I guess, too corny here, but I think of Bruce Lee. He talks about be water. So be that fluid state, right?
Yes.
Work with what you got going on, work with the individual, be present. I really like what you said. It wasn't a matter of like, hearing the other person or listening to what they're sharing, but more so feeling, right? Feel what is being demonstrated in front of you, feel what it's like to be in their position, and then think about how someone is giving them a directive and how to meet that. And they're just not capable at that moment of doing so. Doesn't mean they won't ever. It just means at that moment.
At that moment.
work with what you have. Uh, so you're supporting individuals in this setting. What would you want people looking into to know or have a better understanding of?
We are blessed to be in this world not by choice. No one has a choice of how they come into this world. So, with that being said, that's the understanding I want people looking inside to have. These people, these individuals, did not wish to come into the world feeling super anxious or hyperactive or ADHD. It just so happens these are the cards that they were dealt. So you can't, we have to be more understanding of that aspect. I can't say you can't. We have to come together and be more understanding of this is not how they wanted to come into this world. This is just so happens how they came into this world. So if people on the outside looking in understand that, get that understanding, I think we can move forward and really make a lot of changes, both communities, if we have that understanding.
Yeah, not to disqualify the other person,
Right.
right? Give them not just the benefit of the doubt, but more so the understanding that you would want,
Mm.
right? The openness. Yeah, it's really lovely. I think that's something that we could all attest to, and kind of wish we had our own way, in our own way. Um, what would be a way that you'd want, I guess, people on the outside, or maybe a new family that is coming to terms, or is looking to have these kind of services, to understand about your role?
There are services out there. Uh, do I think we need more? Absolutely. But there are services out there. There are individuals out there. If you see, as a family who is struggling looking for services, struggling looking for staff, if you see any of the participants or staff, don't be afraid to reach out and speak. Say hello. That's how it all starts. And you'd be surprised how much information, how much love you'll get just from a simple hello. What do you do? Who is this? Introduce yourself. And that's our basis. We want to create solid relationships. We want to build a great foundation with everyone. So don't be afraid to introduce yourself. Don't be afraid to say hello. And I think that's the basis for a solid foundation.
Hello can go a long way.
Long way. Smile. You know what I mean? I have a terrible smile. I like to say I have a terrible smile, but a smile goes a long way as well.
Yeah, I've seen you smile so often, though. I mean, because we're working together, we're working with participants, so we get to share the joy with them. So we're working, we're having a lot of fun while we're working. I will say. So I've seen you smile. It's not terrible, but I think you're so right in that. Just say hello. Just acknowledge that the person is there.
Mm.
I think that we have lost that in today's world just because of all the pressures that we're experiencing, all the constant battles, and we've been we've been kind of shaped to have to deal with them on our own, right? To feel that like it's my own battle, but then I know somebody else is kind of dealing with it. And there's groups out there, but it's a group. It's not like the person that's actually holding the door open for you that you
Right.
think is also dealing with it. And when we are dealing with so much, it's nice to give ourselves the grace of just saying hello, even if it means thinking that, am I interrupting what they're doing? Sometimes the interruption is good.
Mm.
Maybe not needed, but it's good, right? Um, working in your role, is there anything you thought, oh, I kind of wish I knew about this before, or like I could have had, if I had this, I would have been so much further with this client or anything like that?
It's difficult, but knowing more about the family and how the participant interacts with the family, interacts at school, interacts with their siblings, um, just more of a rundown rather than just jumping into the water saying, I can do this job. It doesn't matter who it is. I think there should be more of a debrief, more of a level of understanding between the family and the staff. I think that would go a lot further than just jumping right in a quick interview. We need someone to watch such and such. There's no rush. There shouldn't be any rush. I think we should get to know the families and how the participant interacts within certain settings before you jump right in.
Excellent point. Yeah, we get a little caught up in all the things that we want to accomplish. Again, because of who we support, we've heard again, time and time again, of what won't happen, what they will not accomplish, and all we can think about is everything that they will.
Mm.
And so we're kind of battling, right? Of slow down. It's okay to slow down, but then the feeling is if we don't move fast enough, we won't be able to catch up.
Mm.
And
Good point.
that's a hard battle. I mean, even when you're thinking about swimming, I know we've worked with clients simultaneously where we want for them so bad, and we're just missing out on what's happening in front of us, which is the sheer joy, right?
Biggest thing. As long as they're happy, there's no rush, there's no forcing, there's no pushing. It's inserting our confidence in them, and that takes time.
Yeah, it does take time. I was thinking about a client that we both work with, and him jumping into the pool. He loves the water, and jumping in the pool is a scary moment for him. Even though he knows it's safe, he knows he'll be comfortable in it. He loves it, but coming off that ledge, off 2 inches off the water, is a moment for him.
Doing something different is a challenge.
It definitely is.
My job is to balance that challenge with how they're feeling.
Yeah, well said. What do you hope to see in the future in regards to this community or into the regards to your role?
As far as the future goes, I see nothing but positive things. We have people such as yourself, great parents, great staff who have a similar vision, and that is to increase advocacy, increase safety, love, communication, progression all across the board. But funding, funding is big, and just gearing up for, I would say, the next 5 to 10 years, more facilities geared just for them. Facilities where they, like I said, where they can go swim, exercise, study, get a haircut, get a bite to eat. Facilities geared just for them, where they don't have to worry about the outside community's opinion, distraction, and nothing but progress in the future.
Yeah, I like how you said a distraction, an opinion, because that hinders so many of the individuals that we know, and so many of the families from feeling comfortable, from feeling they'll have access. Like, will there be parking? Will we be able to have wheelchair access? Will there be a good changing room? What if they go into crisis, or when they get excited, they're yelling, and I don't want to have to apologize. You know, I work with some families where I say, stop apologizing to other people for your child's behavior when you're in the supermarket. They don't. The people who know, who understand, will understand, and the people who don't. And that's not to the fault of people not trying hard enough. It's just, if you empathize with someone, you'll understand, even if you don't know about that particular event going on. When you're talking about those facilities, I think what's really cool is that there would be people learning, right, how to work in our field. It would give them a better understanding as to how to maybe work in medicine or in sales or in other types of supportive services. It would give others the opportunity to feel more connected as opposed to, I guess, our community having to catch up. It's the other way around where the neurotypical has to catch up. They have a lot. They have a lot to learn from our community.
And that goes back to nobody has control over how they come into this world. So we have to catch up to the community. I would say definitely. Definitely, we have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, in one of my other interviews, I was told I had a lot of patience. And I was laughing. I was like, I don't feel like I have an ounce of it. And they said, oh, you're very good at observing. And I think about when I'm working with an individual, whatever I'm providing in terms of service, is they really push me to be a better person. They push me to be much more on top of what I'm trying to do, to be much more calmer and, in forethought of how do we get there without, making it uncomfortable, or if there is going to be adversity to help you, feel comfortable to grow. Is there anything you'd like to impart
I think that was a great point. I believe this community forces you to examine your own life and how you look at others and how you treat others, how you communicate with others. Patience versus lack of patience, understanding versus lack of understanding. So I think that was a great point. And yeah, great point.
Thank you, Elon. Anything you'd like to share in closing?
Share in closing, Mark Esposito, keep up the hard work. That's all I have to say. As long as we have a great leader, a great visionary such as yourself, we're always going to be on your back. We're always going to be, teammates. We're going to work together to get this vision motivated.
Well, thank you, man. Teamwork makes the dream work. If I get the privilege to be a part of it, which I have been, and if there's ever more where I can advocate stronger for it, I will. I'm happy to do it. Elon, thank you so much for your time and your patience for being a part of this today. Thank you again.
Appreciate you, Dr. Esposito.
And to our audience out there, thank you so much for taking the time to listen in. I hope you were able to get some insights and were entertained. Looking forward to the next episode.